Welcome to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I'm your host, Jackie Hermans. I can't believe we're in the middle of November now. Holy crow. Like, what was I going to say? Anyway, I'm a little tongue-tied this morning, but Halloween, it seemed like it came like that. And the cold weather is definitely here now. So, you know what? It makes sense. On this show, we will be talking about Remembrance Day. And in particular, in this episode, we'll be talking to Jeff Elo from the Oshawa Legion and talking about the ceremony that is available for you to be able to engage with in that area. We'll also be talking to Colin Clark of the Uxbridge Fire Department about getting that escape plan in place. You know what? We actually should be reviewing that on an annual basis. So we'll be talking about what is involved in creating a really great escape plan. And then we're talking to Elizabeth LaBelle from the Durham Humane Society. She has an adorable little furry pet, once again, to be able to share with you, helping them to be able to find their forever home. And so whether you're looking for a cat or a dog or maybe someone you know, you should watch the show so you can pass it along. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
I'm Wendell Clark with a word about winning. We all know it takes a team effort in any sport and with any challenge. You can be a part of the winning team that shuts out impaired driving. Whether you're out on the town or just hanging out with friends, drink responsibly. Always have a plan for a safe ride home for yourself, your family, and your friends. You'll be helping to shut out impaired driving.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Hi, I'm Scott Clark, host of Our Historic Home Durham. We hope you join us as we explore the historic sites, people, and places that our region has to offer. That's Our Historic Home Durham, here only on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So now with me on the show is Colin Clark, who is the captain and the public education officer. Am I saying that right, Colin?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, good. I'm a little bit tongue-tied this morning, it seems. It's wonderful to have you on the show again, Colin.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So today we're talking about creating a safety plan for your family, an escape plan. So what kind of things do you need to think about when creating a plan?
So there are a few things you really need to think about when creating a home fire escape plan for your family. It's definitely something you have to do as a family or as a household. Everyone that lives in your house needs to be aware of this plan so that in the case of a fire or an emergency, everyone is on the same page and knows what to do. So two of the very simple steps of the plan are having 2 ways out of every room and a meeting place outside. And the reason the meeting place is so important is so that when we arrive on scene, we can account that everyone is out of the house and everyone is accounted for. Sometimes when we arrive on scene to a fire where everyone is out, but they don't have a plan, there are people missing, and we immediately go into a search and rescue tactic trying to make sure that there aren't anyone left in the structure. And that can be dangerous for firefighters and everyone. So we like to know for our benefit that everyone's out of the house, but it's greatly beneficial to everyone in the house too, to make sure that everyone got out of the house safely.
Now, do you recommend for, let's say you have pets in the home. So for example, we have 2 dogs and a cat. Should certain people be designated for, you make sure the cat gets out, you make sure the dogs get out, or are you not supposed to worry about that at all? Like, what's priority?
That's a great question. And we talk about this a lot with the school age kids, and that seems to be one of their primary concerns is, what about my pets? Because pets are part of the family. They're
Right.
important to us. And we do get into situations where if we don't take care of that situation, people will go back into the house for their pets, which that's the one thing we advise very strongly is once you're out of the house, never go back in for anything, but you can make your pets part of the plan. That's very easy to do. So if you have, for instance, cats, will sometimes run and hide, but if you can grab your cat on the way out, or if you have an animal that's in a cage, you can bring that cage out with you, but don't delay getting out of the house. That's the big issue is we don't want you searching and prolonging being exposed to any smoke or whatever's happening in the house. Carbon monoxide, we want you outside in the fresh air at the meeting place. If you don't get your pets out, we're going to go in and get them for you as soon as we get there. And we do that a lot of times. And we've taken everything from cats and dogs to boa constrictor snakes and fish and all kinds of stuff out of houses. So.
Okay, that's good. That can bring a relief to a lot of families knowing that you understand the importance of the pets.
Absolutely.
So, now, if you have second floor bedrooms, do you recommend having, one of those chain ladders or something under the bed prepared so you have that second exit?
That's a great question. We do recommend those, but we also recommend that if that is going to be your second way out, that you practice and make sure that you can use that device safely. So you can purchase the escape ladders at most department stores or hardware stores, and it is a great alternative. What we always say is that if you have working smoke alarms in your house, and it usually takes a very small amount of smoke to set them off, that you do have quite a bit of time to get out your first way. And when you have that plan and you have that practice plan in place, you're going to get out that first way. The second way out is a backup in case something goes wrong, in case your smoke alarms don't work, or in case the fire started somewhere that the smoke alarms didn't detect it, like an attic or something like that. That we have that second means of egress. But if you do go with the ladder, we highly recommend that you practice using them, because kids have a great time on them, but some people will get nervous on them and freeze, and they won't go up and down. They'll just kind of hang on. And so we want to make sure if that's going to be a second way that you do practice and know how to use it.
And even practice taking the screen out of your window, in a place of panic. Maybe I don't know how to get this out. Your brain might not be functioning properly, but if you have that practice of this is how you take it out, this is how you take it out, then it could be riding a bike.
Well, and making sure that the window's open. We find in Uxbridge, we have a lot of century homes, and some older windows, they don't open because the house is settled or they've been painted over so many times and they're very old. And, you have to make sure that it is a viable means of egress if you're going to put it in your plan.
Okay. So what kind of things should you be doing as creating the plan? Like, do you have a floor plan chart, a template that people can use?
Yeah, we do. And it's on uxbridge.ca. If you go to the website and go to fire services, we have that page available to everyone to download. They can print it off. And it has all of the steps in creating the plan. And it also has a grid on the back where you can draw out your floor plan. And we want you to draw your floor plan the same way an architect would for a floor plan, where you're looking down bird's eye view and you draw in all of your doors and windows and draw arrows on your 2 ways out of every room so that it's clear. And then after you've created that plan and drawn it, you practice it as a family to see if it works. And it should be updated every year, because things change in the home. We do renovations, people move in and out of the home. Sometimes people will have, a broken leg or something where now they need assistance out of the home. So you have to tailor your plan based on what's happening in the home.
Okay. This is perfect timing that we're talking about this right now, because we're also falling back the clocks, which is a great time to check your fire alarm. So why not also update your safety plan, your safety escape plan?
Exactly. While you're taking that, and it really doesn't take much time to do either. That's why we're always pushing these messages to people because it's so important, and it really doesn't take a whole lot out of, I know we all have very busy lives. We're always on the go, but it can take 10 minutes to sit down with your family and do a plan. And it can take another 10 minutes to make sure all of your smoke alarms are working. And that's a great opportunity to do both, because when you test your plan out, you can actually press your button to make sure that your smoke alarms are working.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was so wonderful to have you on the show.
Thanks again for having us. We're always happy to talk with you guys. Have a great day.
Okay, yes, you too. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Go.
You can't do this, Jacques. It's never been done before.
Mr. Blake.
You can't see down with that thing.
Mr. Blake.
Jacques, what?
They're coming.
Hold them up. Find something. Jacques, I'm telling you for the last time.
Are the Canadians finished?
This plant coming back on the ice.
Come on, give us something, will you?
Please, how many stitches? Gentlemen, please.
Go.
Hey, Tony, you got something to say to the people in the hall?
On November 1st, 1959, Jacques Plante of the Montreal Canadiens broke with tradition.
You're a brave man, Mr. Plant, standing up to him like that.
And changed the face of hockey forever.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So now with me on the show is Jeff Elo, who's the Veteran Services Officer for Branch 43 of the Royal Canadian Legion. Jeff, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So we're talking about Remembrance Day. And I understand that we do have a ceremony this year that's a little bit more ramped up than it was last year due to COVID. And that people can participate. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, thank you. So the service this year will be at Memorial Park, as with every year. From what we've understood, it's going to be a small gathering, less than 100 invited guests. As I understand, there is no parade ceremony per se. I do know that there will be 4 or 5 vehicles that will be parked on Simcoe Street, undoubtedly from the Ontario Regiment Museum up in the south end of the Oshawa Airport. There will be members of the Legion, like myself there. I believe Honorary Colonel Bob Chapman will be emceeing that as well this year. And other than that, I really don't know much else with respect to, with respect to COVID. And with respect to the province, their outdoor gathering mandates.
Okay, well, first of all, I think it's great news that Rogers TV will be filming it, so people can, the community can participate in that. They can watch it live on Rogers TV, and I understand the ceremony is starting at 10:35 a.m.
Yes, that's correct. It'll kick off about 10:35, and then 11 o'clock the last post and moment of silence will be held in, and then there'll be some closing remarks, and then the service will conclude shortly after.
Okay, that's fabulous. And this year for Remembrance Day, does there seem to be a certain theme other than like obviously we are there to remember and honor all those who have served their country. But I understand that's a little bit different this year with the focus. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure, I will do my best with that. Obviously, every year there is always certain anniversaries and certain things that we like to focus on. Last year was the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. 2021 with the federal government with respect to truth and reconciliation, there has been a bit of a focus with respect to our Indigenous soldiers who fought in both the First and Second World Wars, and also continuing on with members of the armed forces who are Indigenous or Métis. As well, there has been a bit of a focus with the No. 2 Construction Battalion, which was the first and only all-Black battalion in the First World War back in 1916, building roads, maintaining railways, ferrying supplies back and forth to the front. And you know, without them, without the supply system, who knows what could have the outcome of the First World War could have been.
Wow. You know, so you are still active yourself, and I understand you're a signaler. Can you explain what that is? What is your role? How does that work?
Yes, that's correct. I am a reserve force with 32 Signal Regiment. They're located both at Fort York Armory in Toronto and Canadian Forces Base Borden up near Barrie, Ontario. I am currently holding the rank of sergeant. I am involved with the contingent at Fort York. I, as a signal operator, which is my trade name, primarily our focus is to provide communication and real-time accurate information to the theater commander so that the theater commander can make accurate and timely decisions based on the tactical situation. Without communications and without, you know, what is happening on the battlefield, we cannot you know, accurately change our focus whether to move one way or move another.
Okay, wow, so that's a pretty important role, because depending on the information that you give will depend on the decisions that are made.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
a little intense.
It can be. I mean, for the most part, we sit at a radio or at a computer style network, but that's not to say that the information is flowing, part of the terminology, fast and furious.
Okay, now before being a signaler, what was your role?
Well, that has been my role for, oh wow, almost 30 years now. I joined the Reserve Force in January of 1992, so I'm coming up on 30 years of service to the military. I've always been a signaler with respect to that trade. Obviously, with technology, my trade name has changed. We used to focus primarily on radios back in the 90s, and now obviously with more digital communications, computer networks, satellite communications and things like that, our role has expanded greatly.
Okay. How did you decide you wanted to be a signaler in the first place, or were you placed within that role?
I was going to college at Durham College I took electronic engineering technician back in the 90s, and it just seemed like a good fit for me in that sense of the word, where I can utilize my education in electronics and apply that in the communications world.
Very cool. Jeff, it was so great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
When you're online, Rogers TV on YouTube shares news and events from your community, like messages from local leaders, updates on the latest health news, local business presenting their new offerings, and how our local communities are working their way through these unprecedented times. Visit and subscribe to Rogers TV on YouTube for the latest local information.
Uxbridge Scugog Life. So now with me on the show is Elizabeth LaBelle. She is a regular on the show with the Durham Humane Society. So Elizabeth, thank you for coming on with another cute furry pet.
Thank you for having us.
So before we go into this adorable little fur creature that you have with you, I would love an update. So the last time you were on the show, we met with Druid and Kelsey. And so what's their current status?
Yeah, so in the last 2 weeks, we had a lot of inquiries into the two of them and a lot of people interested. And we've been very lucky this past week to have been able to find their forever homes. So they're going back, they're going home later this week.
Oh, that's such good news. That's amazing.
Yeah, and they're together. So they're gonna stay together in their forever home.
Oh, that is so great.
Yeah.
And so, all the viewers out there, even if maybe you're not looking to adopt a pet, keep your ear to the ground of who can help these pets find their forever home. Okay, so Elizabeth, tell me about who you have with you right now.
Yeah, so this is Cosmo. Cosmo is a 6.5-year-old female domestic short-haired black and white cat. She is a little bit on the heavy side, so she will need a home that's willing to work with her to lose some of that weight that she's got on her. She's very friendly, but she's also a girl who likes her space. So she would do well in a home with another cat as long as they respect her boundaries.
Okay, gotcha. So she's a little overweight. Does she like her treats?
She loves her treats. Actually, I think I have some here. She might come back in a minute.
And so, and how is her health overall, other than
her health is great? Her health is great. She's a really wonderful cat. She is very active and playful. She's very interested in people. She just wants to have the opportunity to bond with people before she has to bond with the other animals in the home.
Has she ever met up with a dog before?
She has not. So it would be something that you'd want to do a slow introduction with her for.
Okay. So Elizabeth, I wanted to talk to you about your food bank. So this time of year, we talk about food banks for people, but you have a food bank for pets. So mostly to help families to be able to feed their cats and dogs, right?
Yeah. So over the year, we have this food bank that's available to the public. There's no requirements for low income or anything like that. If you are a member of the public and you need help and you want that support, we are happy to give it. You just give us a call and let us know what time you're coming, and we will put together either some cat or dog food, depending on how many animals you have and depending what kind of animals you have. We put that all together for you, and then we send that out with you. We try to give you as much as we possibly can. Normally we try to give about a month's worth. That way they are only coming back once a month. But yeah, we are always looking for donations for our food bank. It's completely run based off the donations we receive from the public. And there's no brands that are specific. There's no types that are better than others. We take everything.
Okay, so for example, if you open up a bag of dog food and it upsets your dog's stomach, it's not a good match for your dog, you will take an open bag that they could just drop off, or does it have to be unopened?
It has to be unopened for us to be able to use it for the public. But if you do drop off bags that are open, we will reallocate it to other rescues that can use open bag food.
Okay, so because there's so many pets out there that also have sensitivities, how I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, but yeah, how do you do that? And do you recommend a slow introduction just to make sure they're going to be okay, and hopefully they have enough of their other pet food that you can just slowly add food to?
Yeah, so you should always gradually transition food, but what we recommend is always doing your best to sort of take what you can. We do our best to keep some diet-sensitive foods here, but we really just get whatever we can from the public. So a lot of people using our food bank know that they aren't unfortunately going to be able to get some of those special diets if they're looking to use the food bank.
Right. But most importantly, nutrition is getting into the pets' bellies.
The animals are getting fed. That's the most important part.
Most important. Yeah. Okay, so if anyone is interested in checking out Cosmo, the website is
hsdr.org.
Okay, beautiful. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Wonderful to have you on the show again. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Hello, Glenn Ward here for Knights of Columbus TV Bingo. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV, your chance to win up to $5,000 with all proceeds going to local charities. Come play Knights of Columbus TV Bingo right here on Rogers TV.
Hello everyone, your host Antoine Hashim here on the couch, and welcome to Season 8. Yay! 8 seasons. And we've got a lot of awesome guests coming up, so keep watching.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Live. So that is another wrap. Now, if you're interested in finding out what type of Remembrance Day ceremony is going on within your area, check out your local Legion website. You might also, the information could be on the municipal website as well. So you can definitely check out those details so you can get involved in the way that feels best for you. Now, if you are interested in being on the show, maybe you have a product, a service, a business, something you want to educate the community about, send us an email. Uxbridge Scugog Life at rci.rogers.com. All right, send us an email. We'd love to have you on the show and pass the shows along to your friends. After this episode airs, we also put it on the Rogers TV YouTube channel. So you can check it out there and share the link. We'll be back next week with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life. Bye.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Behold Emily Carr, painter, about to encounter the force that will consume her life.
How tightly they sealed their secrets from me, humble and pleading before the great trees, awaiting the invitation from the Spirit to come meet me halfway. Nothing is still now, everything is alive. At last, I knew I must see through the eye of the totem itself, the mythic eye of the forest.
Seldom able to live by her brush, before she died in 1945, Emily Carr was in the first rank of Canadian painters.
This is my country. What I want to express is here, and I love it. Amen.